When the precogs declare a victim and a killer, their name is embedded in the grain of wood. Since each piece is unique, the shape and grain is unique. The shape and grain is impossible to forge.
I'm sure you all understand the legalistic drawback to pre-crime methodology.
Here we go again.
Look, I'm not with the ACLU on this, Jeff. But let's not kid ourselves. We are arresting individuals who have broken no law.
But they will. The commission of the crime itself is absolute metaphysics. The precogs see the future, and they're never wrong.
But it's not the future if you stop it. Isn't that a fundamental paradox?
Yes, it is. You're talking about predetermination, which happens all the time. Why'd you catch that?
Because it was gonna fall.
You're certain?
Yeah.
But it didn't fall. You caught it. The fact that you prevented it from happening doesn't change the fact that it was going to happen.
This is a scene from the film Minority Report. While it's a really cool sci-fi movie that I highly recommend, its central premise dives straight into the issue of determinism and whether a predetermined future still allows for free will. So, what is determinism? For this video, we'll use the Oxford Dictionary definition. Determinism is the doctrine that all events, including human action, are ultimately determined by causes external to the will. Some philosophers even argue that this means that humans have no free will and cannot be held morally responsible for their actions. Now, how does God fit into all of this? For thousands of years, people have wrestled with the question, if God exists and is all-knowing, are we determined? Do we still have free will? At first, most of us want to say, of course we have free will. But if we think carefully, the problem gets complicated with a large sum of logical errors that are difficult to resolve. For an example, for clarity, imagine that I hit my friend for no reason. If God already knew I was going to hit him, could I really have chosen not to? If God's knowledge of the future is perfect, then it looks like the answer is no, and determinism would be true. But that doesn't sit right with me, and hopefully not with you either. If determinism is true, and we have no free will, then no one truly deserves heaven or hell. No one could be praised or blamed for anything they do. That conclusion feels wrong. We have a sense of justice instilled in us. So maybe we say determinism isn't true, but therefore God isn't all-knowing. If God is limited in any way, then he wouldn't really be God, because God by definition is without limits. So determinism must be true. Now we're back at the original tension. If God exists and is all-knowing, are we determined? For me, the answer is simply put, I don't know. And while you might hear that and groan, wanting a definite answer, I think that there's a sense of peace in this unknowingness. This is what apologist Frank Turek had to say on this matter.
Could God have created a universe where everybody believes? Logically, the answer is yes. But practically, probably the answer is no. Why? Because God can't do what is logically impossible. What's that? He can't force free creatures to love him. All he can do is create free creatures and allow them, if they're truly free, to make a decision. So it seems like God could not practically create a universe where everyone would believe. That some people are going to fall away. Some people are going to go their own way. Some people are not going to want him. And I think that's the situation we find here. Some people do want him, other people don't want him. So God is under no obligation not to create, because some people he chooses to create freely go their own way. So I think God does elect us, but he doesn't do it against our free will.
So, what does this leave us with? I think it shows a sense of compatibility. God's knowledge and our choices can both exist and be real together. From his perspective, the world is determined. But from ours, we make genuine decisions. We can't surprise God or act outside of his foreknowledge, but our actions, our choices, our wills still matter because of the sheer fact that God says they do. As Paul writes in Philippians, "Work out your salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God who works in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure." Philippians 2, verse 12 to 13. In the end, maybe the takeaway isn't to solve this philosophical paradox, but instead to live faithfully inside of it.